sudden, violent. For money, for pleasure, for revenge. He doesn't care why he kills or how.
Interesting facts about famous people.
Underrated, less known 60s westerns. I think westerns of the 1960s kind of fall into one of the favourite decades for my viewers. Do you agree? I thought today I'd take a look at a selection of westerns from this decade that I don't talk about too much. They fall into the underrated, lesser known category. Some have some of the bigger names in westerns, but somehow the movie itself has drifted into our cloudy collective memories. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I appreciate it. Let's get into it in no particular order. Simmeron, 1960. Directors, Anthony Mann, Charles Walters. The Oklahoma land run of April 1889 sets the stage for an epic saga of a frontier adventurer, his wife and family and their friends. This was a remake of Simmeron 1931, which was the first Western to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Amazingly, no other Western had won an Oscar for Best Picture by the time this film had been released, and it would almost be 60 years before another Western was to win, Dances with Wolves, 1990. Stars Glenn Ford, Maria Schell, Anne Baxter, Arthur O'Connell. Comanche Station, 1960. Director, Bud Botticher. A man saves a woman who had been kidnapped by Comanches, then struggles to get both of them home alive. Last of the renowned westerns, produced by Randolph Scott and his partner, Harry Joe Brown, under the Renowned Picture banner. Scott decided to retire after this one, but 2 years later, he was talked out of retirement by Sam Peckinpah for Ride the High Country, 1962. After that film, Scott retired for good. Stars Randolph Scott, Nancy Gates, Claude Akins, Skip Homier.
And you got her back. How would you feel knowing?
I loved her, it wouldn't matter.
The Unforgiven, 1960. Director, John Huston. The neighbours of a frontier family turn on them when it is suspected that their adopted daughter was stolen from the local Kiowa tribe. In his autobiography, John Huston describes this film as the only one he ever made that he entirely disliked. Ironically, the critic, David Thompson, not normally in the vanguard of Huston's admirers, called it his best film. Stars Burt Lancaster, Audrey Hepburn, Audie Murphy, John Saxon.
Let the women take her in the house and undress her.
Anyone touches her, I'll put a bullet through your God-fearing gut. Not all you can own, or all you can steal.
Adonte!
The Deadly Companions, 1961. Director, Sam Peckinpah. An ex-army officer accidentally kills a woman's son and tries to make up for it by escorting the funeral procession through dangerous Indian territory. Sam Peckinpah's feature directorial debut. He had already helmed several TV episodes, however. The low-budget film shot on location in Arizona was a learning process for Sam Peckinpah. Unable to rewrite the screenplay or edit the picture, Peckinpah vowed to never again direct a film unless he had script control. Stars Maureen O'Hara, Brian Keith, Steve Cochran, Chill Wills.
He's dead.
Gold of the Seven Saints, 1961. Director, Gordon Douglas. In Seven Saints, Utah, McCracken's outlaw gang is vying for fur trappers Jim Rainbolt, and Sean Garrett's Gold Nugget Fortune, that also catches the eye of Mexican bandit Gondora and his Caballeros, made before Hollywood was shaving all the hair off its leading men. In the tub scene, Clint Walker sports manly chest hair in the tub, reminiscent of a similar scene in James Bond, when his Japanese counterparts complained that 007 had an edge on him when it comes to the ladies, because of his full chest of hair. Would be an interesting study to find out when and why they insisted on hairless male stars. Stars Clint Walker, Roger Moore, Letitia Roman, Robert Middleton.
Yeah, fine.
The Last Sunset, 1961. Director Robert Aldrich. At a Mexican ranch, fugitive O'Malley and pursuing sheriff Scribbling agreed to help rancher Breckenridge drive his herd into Texas, where Scribbling could legally arrest O'Malley, but Breckenridge's wife complicates things. This movie had a major influence on Sergio Leone, who worked with director Robert Aldrich on Sodom and Gomorrah, 1962. Rock Hudson drew unstinting praise from director Robert Aldrich, who was enormously impressed with his lack of ego and sheer professionalism. Stars Rock Hudson, Kirk Douglas, Dorothy Malone, Joseph Cotton. The Outrage, 1964. Director Martin Ritt. Travellers in the 1870s Southwest discuss a recent murder trial in which all the principals told differing stories about the events. Paul Newman was concerned about his accent, so he spent 2 weeks in Mexico with a dialect coach, Wallen Green. Paul Newman wore a prosthetic nose for his character, and MGM shipped 2 of them each day to the filming location. Stars Paul Newman, Lawrence Harvey, Claire Bloom, Edward G. Robinson.
This one. I know she wants me.
Only stars such as these can do justice to the jolting impulse. The preacher has his idea.
I can understand the violence of a storm.
One live, one die.
Navajo Joe, 1966. Director Sergio Corbucci. A Native American warrior seeks revenge on the gang of sadistic scalp hunters turned bank robbers who massacred his tribe. Apparently, during the production of this movie, director Sergio Corbucci drove Burt Reynolds deep into Spain's Almerian desert and then drove off, leaving him there to walk back to town. Burt Reynolds once described this movie as being so awful it was shown only in prisons and aeroplanes because nobody could leave. I killed 10,000 guys, wore a Japanese slingshot and a fright wig. Stars Burt Reynolds, Aldo Sambrell, Nicoletta Machiavelli, Fernando Rey.
Silent, sudden, violent. For money, for pleasure, for revenge.
The Rare Breed, 1966. Director Andrew McLaughlin. An Englishwoman and her daughter enlist the aid of a cowboy to try and get their hardy, hornless bull to mate with the Longhorns of Texas, but have to overcome the greedy criminals and the natural elements. James Stewart and Maureen O'Hara did not get along during filming. James O'Hara, credited as Jimmy O'Hara in the role of Sagamon, is the real-life younger brother of Maureen O'Hara. Stars James Stewart, Maureen O'Hara, Brian Keith, Juliette Mills.
You go out on that street and we'll all go to jail.
The thieves have fallen out.
Come on, baby. You're just gonna stir things up here. You bet I am.
A man is dead, all because of your dishonesty.
Well, that's one way to see it, ma'am.
Chukka, 1967. Director Gordon Douglas. While Indians besiege a US Army fort in 1876, residents of the fort, a gunfighter, a stagecoach driver, 2 Mexican women, and a motley company of soldiers try to come to terms with their pasts. The film begins with a US Army commander dictating a report, held prisoner in the commander's office, in a fort that has been almost totally destroyed, is the Arapaho Indian war chief, Anu, Marco Lopez. He says very little. Within the fort's ruins have been found a single grave and a Colt pistol once owned by a gunman Hanu describes as a quiet, lonely man. At this point, the action of the movie commences. Stars Rod Taylor, Ernest Borgnine, John Mills, Luciana Paluzzi. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.